Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
The joy of being successful. What does it look like to you? Maybe you have the perfect partner. Maybe you have the perfect family, the perfect children, the perfect career. You're finally the perfect weight. Everything is coming up roses, as they say, and your life just feels like it's perfectly on track. But yet, something feels off. Why is it that we can be successful and yet something doesn't feel quite right? We're going to explore this topic with my dear friend and mentor, Mariska Dupria, joining us all the way from the other side of the world. Let's welcome her to the program. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I am wonderful, and I'm very excited to jump into our topic today.
I love this topic. Thank you for thinking of it. What was coming up for you when you had this in mind?
Well, where I started. Now, I am not particularly a fan of ChatGPT, and I was doing a bit of market research, and I thought, well, I will just as well employ its wonderful capabilities, because I didn't want to use hours and hours and hours and hours of my own time. So that's what I did. And one of the things that while I was using it and doing a few other things, one of the things that I came to the conclusion of is that leaders in general have a bit of a problem sometimes where we feel like everything seems like it is successful, right? But internally, there's something happening. There's something that sort of goes, am I really? This doesn't feel right, or it feels like I'm efforting too much. So I thought, well, that sounds like a good topic for me and you to discuss, hence the topic. So I look forward to seeing what comes out of it today.
I love it. And such a good point, because for each and every one of us, there are times in our lives when we feel like we're really on point, we're getting things done, we feel accomplished. And, for me, it's always been gold stars, which could be certificates or degrees, but little things that you can check off and go, hey, look at this. And for other people, it means different things. But yet at the same time, I personally have always and still do feel like, okay, when is the other shoe going to drop? When is something going to go wrong? Because how long am I deserving of this success? What do you think that means?
Wow. Well, I would go to that inner state. So what about that inner state is feeling like there's something that's off? Because typically it's almost like walking into a room where you notice that something happens. So it might be that you walk into a room where there's a lot of other people and there's this tension. You don't know exactly what transpired, but you can feel the tension. And that happens for us in life too. We pick up on something that we may or may not be able to verbalize. And what I'm wondering, as you mentioned, the waiting for the next shoe to drop, which is an interesting conversation. I had that same conversation with a client just the other day about that other shoe dropping. And they were actually wondering whether they need to go and study the feeling of the shoe wanting to drop. experience, because we sometimes get it. And to me, it's an indication that something's off, right? There's a sense that I have of something being off. Don't necessarily know what it is yet, but something's off. So Dr. Jacalyn, what is off?
What I wonder is it something that's off, or is it that innate feeling of imposter syndrome? Is it that innate feeling that I'm not really worthy of whatever the success is? And I think that that is something that could affect all of us. But of course, there are people whom I've met in the course of my life who are very successful, and they come from a place of ego. It's like, yeah, I worked for this, I earned it. And I get that. I can understand that. But at the same time, I always feel like the universe is like a puppeteer moving us around and saying, you need to learn a lesson. So when we really cocky or really good about things, it's kind of like, no, you need to be humble because there's something to learn from this.
But that is a good point, because I know with the Dunning-Kruger effect, so with the opposite of imposter syndrome is the Dunning-Kruger effect, where we feel very confident and sometimes overconfident about things that we might not have so much confidence in, especially when we are fairly new in a space. We might have a lot of confidence, and then we feel like we are on the top. We have achieved it all. We know everything. And something kicks our feet from under us, right? And we come back to earth. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I still have a few things to learn. And I'm wondering, so this is a new thought for me, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm wondering, is part of the imposter syndrome also having had our feet knocked from under us a few times, or seeing it from other people, where we sort of go, I don't want that to happen. And because I don't want that to happen, I sort of go to the other side of the coin. I don't know. I'm hypothesizing here. What's your thoughts?
I like a good hypothesis. I think that you're right. I think that at some point in life, we get knocked down, whether it's because of choices that we made, the environment that we're in, the people we surround ourselves with, and we know what that feels like to be down. But we also know what it feels like to get back up. And that is exciting. So it's almost like this up and down that we go through in our life. So it would make sense that when we're at the top, at the peak, that at some point we're going to go back down so that we can experience going back up. And I always say, enjoy the ride, because it's not just saying it's a high or it's a low. It's an opportunity. It's a learning experience. And I think that's exciting. Whereas if we're always at the top, if everything's always perfect, how can we appreciate it if we don't know what it's like to be at the bottom?
Yeah. And I think it would be a little bit boring. I mean, yes, we all want to have success in whatever shape or form it comes in, right? But we also wanted to feel good. We wanted to feel that not only did we deserve the success, but it feels good. I can enjoy the success. Because there's a lot of people that, from the external point of view, it might look like they're very successful. They have the car, they have the house, they have the family, they have the money, they have you name the thing that it is that you link to success, right? So they have all of that. And then my question would be, what's their inner state like? Are they happy, right? Are they waking up in the morning going, oh, you know what? I'm so grateful for all the things that I have. And this is just, I'm living my best life ever. And no, not the Instagram best life type, right? Not the just showing all the glamorous bits. I love every piece of whatever life is for me, the goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the everything. I don't think people in general have that, or a lot of that. Or even get to the top piece and then go, oh yeah, you know what? Now I have all of that. There's typically some alignment issues that happens. And I'm wondering, also going back to the imposter syndrome thing, whether if that happened a few times and the alignment wasn't there, whether the imposter syndrome gets worse. And again, I don't know. Hypothesizing here, it might. Dr. Jacalyn, what's your experience on that?
I think it can go either way. And I think some of the influence on it is if you are looking for external validation or you want to have a conversation with someone. So you share the fact that you were at this plateau and now you feel like you're at this plateau. And depending on what that person might say, they may validate it. And this is something that I'm sure many of us have heard. I've heard it. You know what? You deserve it. I saw it coming. You took your eye off the ball. You had all these distractions. Whatever it might be. And then you start to think, okay, well, no wonder this has happened because, and here's some other ones. You know what? I knew you were going to burn out. You were going to go up in flames. Everyone saw it. You're burning the candle at both ends. I mean, we could go on and on and on with all these expressions. And so then you think to yourself, okay, people saw it coming, so it makes sense that it happened. And at the same time, I do believe that there is a certain group of people, I'm not saying who they are, or it's no one that I don't have anyone in mind, but there are people out there who don't want us to do well. And that's true, because when we're doing well, it puts a spotlight in their mind, not in our mind, but in their mind of what it is that they're doing. So if they feel like they're not having all of these successes, then whatever lifestyle they're living or choices that they're making, they then think to themselves, you know what? I hope she burns out. I hope he burns out. I hope it doesn't work out. And I hate to say that, but it's true. It's part of life.
It is. It is. It reminds me of there's a wee little crab. I'm speaking under correction. I think it's the hermit crab, but it might not be. So what this crab does is, typically, if you want to catch a crab, you put a basket and some bait at the bottom and a flap door thing at the top. Or sometimes you don't even need to do the flap door. So with this type of crab, you don't need to do the flap door. You just need it to be open at the top. And the crabs will climb in and they will start eating. And then more will climb in and they will start eating. And more will climb in and they will start eating until the food, of course, is finished. Now, more crabs climb in because they think there might be food. They see their buddies went in there, right? And then this interesting thing starts to happen. If any one of those crabs decide that, well, there's no food there, I'm going to do something else and go look for food in a different place. It might start to scale the side of the container because the lid's open. They can get out, right? So it starts to scale the side of the container, but its friends actually pulls it back down. It doesn't want them to leave. They want to stay in. They want the friends to stay in the container. So that's what I'm thinking when you're mentioning, Dr. Jacalyn, that when we start to have something that's successful, that shows up, right? The external world is now starting to experience it with us. It's not just the internal state anymore. Then we might have some crabs around us that pulls us back down, which, well, to me, I then start to wonder, are you in the right environment? And can you potentially change that for yourself?
What a fabulous example of the hermit crab, and also a crab literally and figuratively, because there are people around us who can be crabby because they see what we're doing and they're thinking to themselves, why is it that my life's not more exciting? But the question becomes, why do we have to compare ourselves to other people?
Good
Why
question.
is it that we can't just say, for my life, for myself, for what it is that I need, I'm doing pretty darn well and I am happy about it? What I've seen happen is People have to go out, especially on social media. And let me tell you something. I've done this with my workouts. I'll post information about Solidcore, this many classes, look at me. And part of it is to inspire other people. And part of it's also because I am proud of myself. And I feel like, they encourage you to take photos. They'll be like, take pictures with the coaches. And I think that if I needed external validation about that, I might be very disappointed, because what number of followers, of likes, of comments is enough where you say to yourself, okay, well, good job, pat on the back? Because depending on how active you are in social media, like look at the difference between you and me, right? Would you say there is a difference in social media? Yeah.
Huge.
I love you. Yes, huge. So I'm on social media all the time. So if you potentially put something on social media and you were looking to get comments and I was looking to get comments, and then we brought in some kind of TikTok influencer and we looked at their comments, you and I might be very disappointed. And the TikTok person might be disappointed because they're used to getting so many comments. So the point is, success can be measured in various ways, but to me, success is really in here, and it comes down to one thing, and that is peace. When you're peaceful, when you have peace in your life, everything looks different. That's just my thoughts. What do you think?
It does. I definitely agree that it is an internal state, right? And for a lot of people, we don't necessarily understand how to align it for ourselves, how to take this external thing that we've created that looks successful, but doesn't quite feel successful, right? It doesn't feel like it feels like efforting. It feels difficult. It feels like burnout. It feels like pressure. If that's what it feels like, there's a problem. There's a problem. It's not a peaceful state, as you mentioned. It's not a state in which I can go, I actually enjoy this way of being and I'm creating the success that I want, right? The two isn't aligned. There's a misalignment there. And I think for a lot of people, because of the way that society has propagated things, set up things, we are increasing that misalignment instead of actually getting back to an alignment, because we think everybody should be the same type of crab, and we're not. We're all different, right? So we need to figure out what it is for us that actually helps us to get back to that aligned state. And that's the one thing that I see with a lot of the leaders that I work with, that also takes a different type of listening, a different type of being. And we don't always know how to do that properly. I know that, Dr. Jacalyn, you are the listening mentor, right? And it's really around listening to each other and listening to other people. How many times do we actually listen to ourselves?
Oh, my dear friend, I'm going to bring you on my keynote speech over on Saturday, because this is exactly in alignment with what I'm going to be speaking about. We have more ways than ever to communicate with one another. It's constant noise. It's visibility to the degree that you want to be visible. And at the same time, no one is listening to us. If you go on to mainstream news, for example, I don't even believe anything that I read in the news. I actually will check 2 or 3 sources before I can even validate that it's true, because everything's news. Everything's a story. Everyone's giving interviews. It's like last night, the final of Survivor was on. Do you watch Survivor?
No, I don't.
It's really big.
I
here in the
don't
States.
watch TV in general a lot.
I appreciate that. I'm not a big person watching TV, but I do like reality TV shows. Mm-hmm. And Survivor season 50. It's huge. And the bottom line is, a lot of what goes on in the gameplay on Survivor is about building relationships. And then sometimes you might have to turn on someone that you build a relationship. You might actually have to lie to someone's face. But a lot of what goes on is listening. You've got to be able to listen. And so what I really want us to talk about right now, because I feel like this is key, is listening to our intuition, listening to that little voice inside us that says, this doesn't make sense. Why are you going down this path? And in fact, on Survivor, one of the finalists, for anyone who didn't watch the final, I'm not going to say anything, the finale, but one of the finalists had an idol. They have these little idols, and he never used it. In his intuition, he had a dream that told him to play the idol, and he didn't do it. And he ended up going home and he didn't play the idol. And his whole point was he didn't listen to his intuition. So I think tying our intuition into our topic, you're successful, so why does it feel off? Because there's something about the success that we're uncomfortable with. And maybe it's the visibility. There are plenty of people I know who are not on social media. They're not on LinkedIn, even though I think if you are a business owner, having a profile on LinkedIn, it gives you credibility, lets people check and make sure that you are who you say you are. But there are people who are not interested in that. They don't want the visibility. Sometimes people don't know what to do with the success in terms of the money. I've shared this before, but I watched a documentary about NFL football players, and they came from nothing. And then all of a sudden they get these multi-million-dollar contracts, and people are spending them blind. People are asking them for money. And before you know it, they're broke. And the same thing with movie stars. Or you go from being a private person and now you're an influencer, and now people are stopping you. People are contacting you. One of our team members, she has a huge following, and people are constantly reaching out to her, asking her to solve their problems. And it's like, so the point is, success, depending on what you call success, can come with other things that you didn't expect. So that's why I go back to the same thing I said before. To me, success means that you have peace in here. You don't have anxiety. You don't have depression. You do not have these feelings of having to prove anything to anyone else.
Yeah. And to your earlier point on listening to that intuition, right? We don't. Everything is so busy. I mean, you mentioned it earlier on with the news. Every story is a story, right?
That's right.
Everything, there's so much noise, so much noise. I've worked with a leader not so long ago that one of the things that I could see they need to do for themselves was to just tap into their own inner wisdoms and inner listenings. And yet every single silent moment that they have this drive to grow, which is great, right? And they will put on a podcast. They will listen to some influential somebody talking. It is additional noise that you are introducing into your system. When do you take time just to be and think and be with yourself? For some people, it's scary to be with themselves. They don't know what to, one, they don't know how to do it. And two, they don't know what to do once they're there. And for me, it's the most brilliant place to be, is to be with yourself, because then you get to listen. Then you get to hear, like the Survivor, one of the guys there said that, well, if I just listened, I had a dream about this. If I just listened to it, this would have been different, right? And there's so many times where we can see, oh, damn it, I should have listened to myself. And I didn't. I didn't pick up the signs. I didn't hear it in time, right? Or I heard it and then I ignored it. I sometimes do that. So understanding what it is and how it works for us. I think that's something that in society we have been dulled. We have
Good word.
literally
I love
dulled.
that. Dulled.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, I don't know what's going on with you in Australia there, but you're in a blackout mode for some reason.
Hopefully you can still hear me.
I can still hear you, but I can't see you. Your screen has gone black.
Oh.
I'm going to take you off for a second while you work on that. One of the things that also is coming up for me on this topic, which is you're successful, so why does it feel off, is because many times there's something in our past that we were told we weren't good enough. We didn't do it well enough. We'll never be anything. And that voice is always there in the back of our heads. And I know for me, I grew up always believing that I could have been thinner. And I'm 63 and I'm still every single day, why aren't I thinner? And it's ridiculous because at this age, I'm not going to get any thinner. I'm getting stronger, but the voice is still there. It's like, you know what? You could be thinner. And the truth is, welcome back. And the truth is, I don't actually think I can be thinner. I've had very long conversations with ChatGPT and I take pictures of myself. Well, what do you think now? What about last year? What about 5 years ago? What about 10 years ago? And it's like, you actually look better. I'm like, you are lying. I don't know why you're lying. I don't want to work with you anymore. But the point is, it's in my mind from when I was a little girl. And so obviously there's something there that I haven't dealt with, even though I felt like I had enough therapy to deal with it. And so to me, when I get the gold stars, it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. Let's go on to the next one. It was like after I graduated with my doctorate, which I can't even believe was in 2011. Some people weren't even born then. I immediately applied for a second degree. I wanted to get a PhD because I have a DBA. And I was 6 months into it. I'm like, what am I doing? I just got done with 6 years. I don't need another 6. But in my mind, it was like, oh, let's collect degrees. Let's collect degrees. So I'm sure there are other people out there who might feel like that. And let's say, for example, people have children. I know people who they have 6 children. They're working on more children. And some people actually love children. And other people have told me, well, they don't feel like they as a parent have done such a great job. So they want to try it again and see if they can try with this one. So whatever it is, maybe we're all chasing something, but it comes back to the same thing, which is having peace and saying, I am enough. And saying thank you, whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever. Thank you for what I do have, and being satisfied with that. It's difficult to just stop there and not put a but, ... but.
Yes. It's normally the buts that gets us in trouble, right?
Big butts, big.
Big. And I'm not talking about the one that you have on your body.
That's right.
It's the buts after the whatever the sentence is that we said, oh, I'm grateful for this thing, but.
Yeah. And, I do want to go there for 1 second because I don't know how it is in Australia. And you and I have touched on this on other episodes. But here in the States, if you see some of the movie stars, the Hollywood A-listers that are around the same age I am, the work that's being done, and then they're in these gowns and they're at these, the Met Gala, wherever it is. And then the article is, look how toned so-and-so's arms are. And they put their arm it's like nothing. It's like a skeleton arm. And it's almost like, okay, so this is now the measure of success. The measure of success is not having some meat on your bones. It's not being strong. It's not being able to stand up or balance on one foot. It's let's be skeletal. And so I think that what we see in mainstream media that we can choose to watch or not, what we look at on Instagram, what we buy, who we surround ourselves with, I think a lot of that has an impact on what we view success as. Sometimes just getting up to bat is a success. Now, I'll just share with you, I have this keynote speech that I'm doing on Saturday. Hopefully no one who is arranging this is listening. But, there are measures even for me as to what will success look like. When I deliver that speech, how will I evaluate whether or not it's successful? Because in my mind, I'm already thinking, well, I'm probably not going to do this right. And I'm probably not going to do that right. Like, where does this chatter come from?
Well, Dr. Jacalyn, as you were mentioning how success would look like and having those measures, right? Nothing wrong with having measures, because then at least we know what it is that we are working towards. What I'm wondering is one of the measures how you want to feel?
Yes, that's a great. So elaborate on that. When you say, how do you want to feel?
Well, if you think about going for this keynote, right? There's the technical measures. How well did I speak? How, I don't know, if you were a comedian, how many laughs did I get, or claps, or whatever? How engaged my audience was, how many people come up to me afterwards, whatever the measure is that you measure from the physical things. But then there's what I'm thinking about more, especially lately, because I'm revamping my business. And what I'm wondering about is the energetic feel of the thing, right? So when I go for this keynote, how do I actually want to feel? Literally, do I want to be excited? Do I want this to be easy? Do I want this to be graceful? Do I want this to be energizing for me? Do I want this to be... So what sort of experience do I want to have from this thing that I'm doing? So what's that? And what would success look like for me in that energy space, right? How can I build that into what I am doing and how I am showing up? Yes, I know I tend to use one of my moves as an example for this. Typically a move is quite a stressful thing, right? There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So moving in general, not the easiest thing for most people. And I decided that energetically, what I wanted my move to be like was mindful. I wanted a mindful move. Now, I knew that there was lots of things that needed to happen. I understood that anything can go wrong, but I still wanted it to be mindful, because I wanted my move to feel not only mindful, but also grounding. And that's what I did. So when I packed the boxes, I did it mindfully. When I set up my calls, I went and I grounded myself before I did that. And then I had my calls. And on the day, lo and behold, everything didn't fit into the container. And I needed to do a few things extra. And I thought, you know what? I want this to feel mindfully. So with this challenge that I have in front of me, how can I do that? I went and I made myself a cup of tea, and then I went and I made the calls. So that's the energetic feeling of the thing, instead of just thinking about the other KPIs. So to that question again, Dr. Jacalyn, do you have an energetic intent and KPI for your keynote speech this weekend?
I hadn't thought about it, but I am right now. And I kind of would like to have a feeling of hallelujah, like everybody's like, yes, this is the information that we have been waiting for. We are so glad that we traveled far and wide to be here for this keynote presentation. And this information is illuminating and mind-blowing. That's kind of the energy I'd like to have, as opposed to hearing a lot of laughs in the audience. Because if there's a lot of laughter, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't remember telling a joke. But I think it also has to do with reading your audience. So when you go out on the stage and you get that feeling quickly, you have to assess just that there's a feeling, an energetic feeling. And it might even be having to break the ice, so to speak. And I'm not going to come out and start juggling or doing magic tricks or anything like that. But I will be starting off with a provocative statement or question. And I am spoiler alert, I am doing some role plays. I'm going to ask for volunteers from the audience. I love that. I love getting people engaged. And depending on the way the room's laid out, I did try to find out the room layout, but I don't know it yet. I may step off the stage and walk through the audience. I love doing that. I think you can command a room, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm reading the audience. I think it's going to be a lot of professors and scholars, academics, authors. So I also want to be respectful to the audience and not take it a step further than I've been given permission to. But I have to share this, and I think I told you this. When I was in London, I was very fortunate to record my first and probably only single, which is called Please Listen to What I Say. And Dr. Madeline Chan, she did the backup vocals for me. So now for my keynote, when I step out onto the stage, this song is going to be playing. And so it's kind of a rush. And I wish my mother was here. I wish she could be in the audience and she would tell me exactly what she thought. But we'll see. We will see. I'm hoping that people will leave with some valuable information and say, I'm glad that we picked her to do this keynote.
Well, and what I'm hearing is there's a lot of what other people will get from it. What do you want to get from it energetically? What's the energy that you want to get from it?
I'm really appreciative of the opportunity. I'm really grateful. And I think what I want to get from it is, I remember when I was in corporate, I sold meetings and events. I sold them for 28 years to some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And even though I wasn't a meeting planner, we arranged the keynote speakers and we arranged everything that takes place at a national sales meeting or at a drug launch. And to be the person who is now going to be up on the stage, it is a dream come true. I did a keynote last year in London for the Universal Peace Federation, but this is different. There are going to be many more people and people who are expecting something, right? They paid to attend. They're flying in from all different parts of the world. And I think I just want to live in the moment and really enjoy it, because it's going to go by very quickly. And I think when I do the role plays, if there can be some some illumination moments where people say, you know what, I get it. This dysfunction that I now see as a part of this role play is what has been going on in my life over and over and over again. And now that I'm witnessing it, I understand that I'm part of it and I can make a difference.
See, now that's the type of KPIs that you need.
Yeah, thank you. We're having a therapy session right here, so I appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know, Mariska and I met in 2019. She was living in New Zealand at the time. I think you was at Cape Town. You were somewhere else. And we decided to get certified for life, career, and executive coaching. And you and I were partnered together to do role plays. And then you became my mentor, and you actually helped me write my letter and come up with my plan A, B, and C to retire from corporate March the 6th, 2020. So you and I have been through a lot together, and now you're in Australia. We've never met in person, but week after week, show after show, we've done many more shows outside of this one. We've done some workout shows. Remember that? That was pretty fun. We've done a lot of things together, and I just have the utmost respect for you. But my dear friend, we are out of time, and our show is going to be distributed on some of our platforms, so I've got to get it over there. Tell people what it is that you do, and who out there who's watching today or listening or watching on a future episode, who can you help?
So what I do is I help you to realign. Especially leaders. So when we are within the leadership space, there's so much going on for us. And as we talk through today as well, success might look a whole lot of different ways for us. And sometimes there's something that feels off. So if you are a leader in a space where you feel like this should feel better, but it's not, something feels off, something feels like it's not quite clicking in the way that you want it to, you might be misaligned. There might be something that isn't quite doing what it's supposed to be doing. So if that sounds like you are more than welcome to contact me. And as Dr. Jacalyn is scrolling through my website, which I updated recently, you will see that there's a button that you can click for a discovery call. Alternatively, you can fill in the contact form, or you can also email me at my email, which is Mariska, MARISKA, at journey2discover.com. And the website is also journey2discover.com. So journey, JOURNEY, 2, the number, discover, DISCOVER.com. So that's one way of getting hold of me. Alternatively, you can also find me on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, it's really easy. There you see my profile, and you can send me a direct message and we can start our conversation from there. And that is who I work with and how you can get hold of me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, my dear friend. This time together is always valuable, and you come up with the best topics. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. So today for you is already Friday. So have a beautiful Friday and the rest of your weekend.
I will. Thank you. And for everybody watching and rewatching, enjoy the show. And remember, we have loads more, as Dr. Jacalyn said. You might find some of those obscure exercise videos too.
Over 14,000 videos we have actually on YouTube. So lots to see. So thank you again for being here.
Bye for now.
Bye, Mariska. If you are watching on YouTube, guess what? I have a request. Would you kindly just go over and subscribe? We've got 2 channels. The first one, USA Global TV and Radio. We have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers, and we are working on it on the Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. We are, I think, 39,000, but we started 2 years late. So if you're not watching on YouTube, please consider going there. Okay, this is what I'm going to leave you with. I am a business owner, and for several years, I have found myself just giving things away. Can you do that? Yes. Do you have time now? Yes. Can you take a call? Yes, 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 yes. And at the end of the day, I was completely exhausted, and I didn't feel like I had accomplished that much because I was giving away all of my time. So now I'm much more purposeful, and you can be too. I want you to look at your website. How many free things are you offering? How many times do you take your price and you drop it as soon as someone argues with you? You know, I had a really interesting conversation with someone today about the fact that we have standards, we have boundaries, and people push against them. And the first thing that comes up is, oh, I'm afraid I don't want to lose anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want anyone to be upset. And then instead of honoring the boundaries that we've set, we start to drop them. We start to push against them. And whatever we created starts to get eroded. So from now on, stop giving away your value, whether you purchase my book or not. There is a lot of information in here that I share with you on many of my own shows, which you can find over on YouTube. And in this book, which is about pricing, boundaries, and the business of respect, I help you identify when and how you are giving away your value. Let's say you're not a business owner. Let's say you are a mother, a father, you're a husband, you're a wife, you're a spouse. Whatever your situation is, how much of your time are you giving to someone else because you want the other person to be happy, because you don't want drama, you don't want any conflict. So you find yourself saying yes, yes, yes. And then when you're by yourself, you're completely frustrated, worn out, and you're thinking, I don't know how much longer I can do this. You have to set boundaries, and it's not easy. And what I can tell you is when you do set the boundaries, the people you love, the people around you, they may not like it, because they know you a certain way. They know how to push your buttons. Whether they mean it doesn't mean that it's intentional, doesn't mean there's anything that's negative. It's just the dynamics that we have in relationships. So you can turn it around. You can turn it around so that you set boundaries and you can still have very good relationships, but they're at another level, meaning deeper conversations, more authentic relationships, and connections that are actually valuable. You can actually go through all the relationships that you have. Whoops, sorry about that. And you can say to yourself, some of these relationships don't serve me anymore, but I don't know what to do. I help you with all of that in this book. And also, if you're looking to start a business and you want to set your prices and you don't know what to do, traditionally, typically, what I have seen from all of my research is that we go in very low. And I'll share this very quick story and then I will say goodbye. During the pandemic, I got certified in meditation. And during this process, the facilitator, the host, actually brought someone into one of our sessions to talk to us about what this person was doing. And the person was out of New York, and the person shared their website. And I went to this person's website and I saw she was charging $25,000 an hour, 1 hour. And immediately, my entire opinion just completely changed. And I thought, $25,000 an hour, what is this person selling? And so this person shared with us that when she set her price, she only needed 4 people to sign up for her course. 4 people. And she believed in herself. In the first 6 months, no one signed up, but she kept persevering. She kept marketing. She kept talking about it. And in the following 6 months, she had 6 people sign up for 1 hour sessions for $25,000. So think about that. You've got to be committed and convicted to what it is you have to offer. You have value, each and every single one of you. You are making a difference in this world. The only thing holding you back is you. So believe in yourself, follow your intuition, be good to others, and please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to having you back on our next show. Right now, we're going to take a look at a clip. We're looking for people who are interested in having their own television shows. We do extensive training. As I mentioned, we have the YouTube Silver Creator Award. We are distributed on many platforms. Right now, we're streaming on 12 different platforms. So take a look, and if you think you have what it takes, we'd love to hear from you. Whatever language it is that you communicate in, we are interested in hearing from you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Hey, you. Psst. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Are you creating content, a blog, a podcast, a newsletter, going live on Instagram or TikTok, and still not seeing real visibility or growth? Here's why. Anyone can post, anyone can go live, but not everyone is positioned to be taken seriously. Right now, people are going to YouTube to search for experts, for answers, for credibility. So while you're putting in the work, someone else is being seen as the authority. Not because they know more, because they're positioned better. Now imagine this. Your own professionally produced TV show, marketed, distributed, optimized with SEO so people can actually find you. Not just seen, but searchable, discoverable, positioned. You're trained, you're coached, you're guided. No experience necessary, but you do have to be coachable, because this is about stepping into a higher level. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. We've already built the platform, 2 YouTube channels, a global audience, a Silver Creator Award. So the question is, how much longer are you going to rely on temporary visibility when you could be building real authority? If you're ready to be seen differently, go to USAGlobalTV.com and apply to host your own show. This is for individuals who are serious about investing in their visibility, their credibility, and their growth. If that's you, we're ready. USA Global TV and Radio, where your voice becomes your platform. Executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn. Videographer, Paul Garcia. Voiceover, Ed Vargas. All rights reserved. This production is the exclusive property of the USA Global TV and Radio and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used without written permission.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at USAGlobalTV.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.